Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Earth to Echo. When I was watching the previews for the film, the first thing that came to my mind was E.T. meets Super 8. And unfortunately, Earth to Echo leans more towards Super 8 in the end. Just like with Super 8, I definitely don't think it was a bad film. It just necessarily wasn't a great one either. And I will say that I did enjoy Earth to Echo more than I enjoyed Super 8, so I would put it above that level, but it's nowhere near, obviously, the levels of E.T., which was kind of disappointing. I was hoping we had a surprise hit on our hands, and I really don't think that was the case. So I just want to start off by saying I am so done with the found footage format of films. It just looks cheap. It cheapens every movie it's a part of. I'm done with it. I prefer the regular format to filming found footage played out. I'm over it. So hopefully moving forward, we start to see less and less of these movies. I think they're making less and less at the box office, so hopefully that will lead to their extinction at the box office soon. But this is a found footage film with kids. They do too much in the beginning to explain how we're getting this footage, which I guess is good because sometimes you're wondering, like, okay, I mean, really, you just have this camera all the time and it never falls or whatever. I mean, there's just too much play with the camera, though, too much, like, in their face, or, like, funny little gags, and I should say funny little gags with the cameras, and overall, just the whole found footage thing didn't work for me at all in this film. It was a little bit too try-hard. Also, the film looked pretty cheap for the most part. There were some CGI scenes that looked good, but that whole map that they kept reverting back to was just so bad. It was like 90s Sega bad. So that, coupled with just like the film quality, weren't so great. And again, the found footage just adds to that cheapness factor. I will say Echo did look great, but I'll get back to that once I get to my positives in the review. I thought the whole, at least one-third of the movie was pretty bad, actually. The whole opening act was just cringeworthy almost. I was dreading having to sit through the rest of the movie as I watched that first part. Thankfully, I do think it really progresses, and the last act is actually pretty good, and that middle act is just there. My final negative is that it is aimed pretty much squarely at its target audience, which I think is elementary and middle school students. It is aimed right at them and doesn't really veer too much older or too much younger at any point during the film. It is told through the perspective of, I think they're either middle school or like 9th grade students, and it really has their tone. It's all about them, and it's all through their perspective. So I think students in that age range might be able to really connect with this movie more than, say, I did. But they also send some bad messages at points in the film. There's an exact line at the beginning, before they go on their adventure, that states, "We were the good kids, not anymore." Basically, because they're going on this adventure, they say we're no longer good kids. And I think that's just a terrible, terrible line and terrible message to put into a film aimed at younger or middle-aged adolescent children, saying that good kids, one, don't have any fun, and two, you don't want to be a good kid so that you can come on adventures like this. You gotta steer away from being that good kid. And I just think that was a terrible line to put in there. Even if it's like, I don't know, insinuated, make it less obvious so that subtext maybe can fly over kids' heads. Don't directly say the words. But it didn't veer from their point of view either. So it was hard, the whole kids wanting more power, more responsibility, and more self-actualization, I think is something that the kids will be able to relate to. It was just a little pushed hard for me. But that's just me. So what was good about Earth to Echo? Echo was good. I thought the alien Echo was adorable. And I had already kind of made that notion before I came into the theater, but Echo was really cute throughout the entire film. It was my favorite part of the movie. The ending also had some surprising heart. And it came along with my favorite character. I'm not going to spoil too much, but my favorite character definitely made the movie. And they switched focuses from the other two kids to this one throughout, like, as we neared the end. And I thought it really helped capture that heart and capture that feeling once we came to a conclusion. Also, there were some pretty suspenseful moments, I will give it that. During the whole middle part of the film, into the ending, we did get some very suspenseful, exciting moments that were followed by some very convenient moments, I will say that. But, yeah, there were some pretty exciting stuff happening there as well. And most of the CGI scenes with Echo were actually really good. So I'm wondering, did they just spend up all their budget making Echo look cool in his little spaceship? And some of the things he, like, is able to move metal or, like, dismantle things and put them back together. Some of that looks cool. Some of that did not look real. But some of it did look good. So, yeah, I think the acting was what it was. It's a child actors. They were okay. They were asked to play, you know, one note. They didn't really get too much self-development. So, yeah, I'll leave it at, they played their characters well enough to make it passable. Some of it did obviously seem pretty forced, but it is what it is when you're working with child actors and the movie solely relies on child actors. So, overall, I think Earth to Echo was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But I would recommend it to families who have the kids in that range that I stated earlier of elementary and middle school students. If you're older and you don't have kids, I'm not going to recommend this film to you. And if you have real small kids, maybe they'll find Echo cute, but they won't really be able to understand what's happening or get it. They'll probably get bored. It is a pretty short movie too, just under an hour and a half, so that's well appreciated for family audiences as well. So, ultimately, I do recommend it for families with kids. Not a strong recommendation at all for anybody outside of that range. So, that is my review of Earth to Echo. I love you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all next time.